Hey, everybody out there, welcome back to 91.8 The Fan. I am, of course, your lovely host, DJ Christmas, and this here is my lovely guest, Richard Epcar. Say hello to the fans, Richard Epcar.
Hello, fans. I'm Richard Epcar.
Wonderful. And after some painstaking efforts, we finally managed to get you on the show, and I'm sure that a lot of our fans are wondering, how exactly did you get started in this wonderful voice acting business?
Well, it happened a long time ago. I first came to Los Angeles to become an actor, and I had some success with that. And I actually became a member of a resident member of a theater company here in Los Angeles, and that's how I met my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, and she had done some film where they wanted to replace the dialogue and asked if she knew of anyone who could go do that. So she brought me along, and they asked me if I had ever done this before, and I said, "Oh, sure, I've done it a million times, and I'd never done it before." And I went in and I got the lead role in this movie, revoicing this lead guy, and I went in and did it, and I took to it pretty well because I'm a drummer, and it was very rhythmic and musical. So I did that, and from there I started doing some animated stuff, and I started doing Robotech. That was really one of the first big ones that I started working on, and just after that, it just basically I haven't stopped since then. It's been a pretty good run, actually. So that turned out to be a good thing.
Yeah, and looking over your resume, and by resume I mean Wikipedia page here, it says that you've actually been one of the few people to participate in all 5 series of Digimon.
That could be. I don't know. I know I started. I actually was one of the original directors of Digimon on the original show, and of course played Myotismon and Edamon and Apemon, and so I worked on that for a while. But then I got a great job from DreamWorks, and they sent me all over the world supervising their films into other languages, and that was a lot of fun. So I spent a lot of time doing that for them and Universal Pictures, and every time I'd come back, I would do more anime or animation or games. So right now, basically what's going on, the anime seems to be waning a little bit. The last thing I did was Monster. I played Inspector Lunge on that, and then I also did something on this new Gundam Unicorn thing. I played what the hell is his name? Oh, I'm sorry. What the heck is his name? I can't remember, but anyway, it'll come to me eventually. Daiguza is the guy I play in Gundam Unicorn, and but there's not a lot of anime going on right now, unfortunately, and that's kind of sad because there was a lot of great shows, and like Ghost in the Shell, one of the ones I played Bato in. But we're doing mostly game voices now, and I've been working on a lot of games, so that's been fun.
Yeah, you were actually just in the recent Kingdom Hearts game.
Yes, I've been in all the Kingdom Hearts games except the first one. I replaced Billy Zane on the first one, and I'm not really sure why he didn't continue on, but I'm grateful to him that he didn't because I got to do his part, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I'm happy to be doing that.
And
you'll have to ask me later in the show. I'll have to tell you a funny story about that particular game, working on that game.
All right, well, we can get into funny stories later on, but I've noticed that you seem to vary between hero characters and villain characters. Which would you say is more enjoyable to play?
Oh, they're all fun, They're all really fun. I don't know. It's a tough question. I don't, it's like people ask me, who's your favorite character? Would you prefer playing heroes or villains? Or, I just, I don't really think about it like that. I just enjoy pretty much everything I do. I do my best. I try to do my best whenever I go in the booth, and I try to jump into the situation, whatever it is or whatever the character is. And I have to say, for the most part, 99% of the time, it's a lot of fun. And there's always that 1% that's not so great, but we won't talk about that. But for the most part, I really enjoy it, and it is fun to play heroes at times and save the day. But it's also fun to play the villains because the villains you can eat a lot more of the scenery when you're a villain and just have a great time and be evil, and that's a lot of fun to do as well. So I seem to be cast as a lot of villains for some reasons, or authoritarian figures like cops or generals, or the head of the military, or those kinds of characters. In fact, I'm in a new game now where I can't talk about it, unfortunately, but it's a very, very big game that you would all recognize the title. And I happen to play the commander-in-chief in that game, so it's kind of interesting.
Well, very cool. Hopefully we will be able to check that out once it comes out. But aside from animation stuff, you've actually done some live-action voice talent
Yeah,
over the years with Power
yeah,
Rangers.
yes, that's true.
And what is that like? We've talked to a couple of people who have done live-action stuff with them. We talked to Robert Axelrod last week, and is it similar, or is it an entirely different world from animation voicing?
Well, the Power Rangers is pretty much a cartoon, even though it's live action. So you're pretty much just playing a big cartoon. Those I did a lot of the monster voices on that, and I also directed the ADR on that show. So those characters are like giant talking marshmallows and stuff like that. So it's just there's kind of crazy characters. So it's nothing like real live action ADR, which I've done plenty of that, and I've worked on Academy Award winning films and things like that doing ADR. That's a whole other thing. It's much different than that. But Power Rangers was just the same kind of deal. It was just kind of fun, and it's like I say, it's pretty much a live action cartoon, and that's pretty much the way we played it.
And since you do both sides of the spectrum, ADR and voicing, would you say that doing some directing work helps you be a better voice actor?
Yeah, I think so, and vice versa. I think that being an actor helps me be a better director. And it's always nice when you're in the booth to have someone who directing you who is an actor, because they first of all, they know where you're coming from, they know how to communicate to you, and they know how to get what they need from you. They know how to talk to you as an actor talks to another actor, and it's important. And sometimes some directors are just kind of technically based, and they really don't come from it from a creative place, and it makes it more difficult, and they really don't speak the actor's language, and it's just a little tougher sometimes. But I find that being an actor has helped me tremendously as a director, and being a director helps me tremendously as an actor, because I'm not just focused on my part of it as an actor. I'm focused as a director. I'm focused on the entire thing. So it does kind of open you up and make you aware of more things, and I think it's a good thing for, like I say, a director to at least have some acting roots in order to direct.
Definitely. And you've done a lot of villain roles. Would you say that have you ever had moments where your voice has been sore, or you've lost your voice and you've had to take time to recover, or have any tricks that you use to recover?
Well, it's funny you asked that, because yesterday I was screaming my butt off for 4 straight hours on a game that I screamed my butt off for 6 hours before that. So it's not always easy. I mean, basically, if you are a trained actor and you kind of know what to do, the best thing to do when you're in that situation, you just have to relax your throat, and you can't tighten up. And you have to just relax your throat, and when you scream, you just have to scream. I basically was screaming for 4 hours yesterday, and then I had a Hallmark commercial I had to record today, so it was kind of tough because my voice was thrashed, and I could hear it. But my trick is that, aside from just staying relaxed and not trying to clench your throat, which is really important, especially when you're speaking really loudly. Because the natural thing is when you scream, you want to tighten up your throat. You have to totally relax your throat. And then when I came home last night, I had to gargle with warm salt water, and that really helps me tremendously. That helps bring your voice back. So if you ever lose your voice and you're having a problem, or you have to speak the next day, gargle with as hot as you can stand it, salt water. Don't burn yourself, but as warm as you can stand it, and do it, several times before you go to bed, when you wake up, and it will bring your voice back a lot faster than if you don't do that.
Well, that is some pretty insightful information for anybody out there who wants to get into voicing, but they end up with just minor gaming roles like Call of Duty where they're just shouting grenade all the time.
Yeah, I did Call of Duty also. That was interesting. I worked on this last one, Black Ops, that just came out, and that was cool. It was cool to be part of that game. That's a very cool game.
Well, awesome. But for everyone else out there, we're going to take a short musical break.
All
And
right.
when we come back, we will see what Richard has recently, any conventions or anything that he has coming up. But in the meantime, make sure you keep it tuned to your favorite station, 91.8 The Fan. Everything you want, nothing you don't.
Are you hungry for some anime? Don't snack on cheap substitutes like sake and pocky. Snack on Anime Bites. Delicious bite-sized reviews of your favorite anime posted every Monday on 91.8 The Fan and a week later in China. Anime Bites. Only on 918thefan.com. Because .net is for losers.
Hey, everybody out there, welcome back to 91.8 The Fan. I'm still here, and so is my special guest.
I'm still here.
Well, awesome. And we were talking behind the scenes about some old Digimon stuff, and we decided to share it with the rest of you.
Oh well, I was just mentioning to you, I'm Marukamon in the new Digimon Data Squad, and but going back to Digimon, the original Digimon, which I directed the original series. I was remember I told you I was supervising for DreamWorks and Universal, and I happened to be over in Israel at the time, and they were dubbing Pokemon into Hebrew, which is really scary.
Wow.
And yeah, and anyway, they found out that I was Myotismon and Edamon, and they flipped out because apparently they were dubbing that in another studio, and they acted like one of the Beatles was in the studio, so that was kind of funny.
Oh, wow.
I got a kick out of that. I thought that was kind of funny. So they were really excited about that.
Well, very cool. And one of the other things we're talking about behind the scenes, since we're not here to just promote your stuff, but your son actually has a band, and they are headlining for U2 at a Canadian show.
That's true. My son is the drummer for the band Carney, and Reeve Carney, who's the front man of that band, is playing Spider-Man on Broadway right now. And Julie Taymor, the director of that particular show, Spider-Man, fell in love with the band and put the whole band in the show. So they're working on Spider-Man right now, and Bono and the Edge of U2 wrote the music for the show. And so they just, U2 and just fell in love with Carney. So they're going to have them open for them at a venue. It's an 85,000 seat venue in Canada that they're going to be opening for a U2 at, which I think is pretty darn cool. And they're going to fly them in. They're going to do the show, and they're going to fly them back, and they're going to have to do Spider-Man the next day. So,
well, there you go. It's a weekend affair.
There you go. And they keep working. So I'm very proud of my son, John Epcar. He's a great drummer. He just got endorsed by Peisty Cymbals and a stick company to do his own stick. So that's pretty cool too.
Well, awesome. And in terms of projects that you're working on right now, I don't think that Zangetsu has been in any recent Bleach episodes, but that is always ongoing.
Well, there's one exciting show that I'm working on. I'm very, very happy to be part of. It's Airbender, The Legend of Korra, which is the new series from Nickelodeon, which is the sequel of Avatar, the animated series that Nickelodeon did before. And I play I'm not supposed to talk about who I play yet, but I have a nice character on that, and I'm very, very happy to be part of that show. So that's kind of exciting. That's an original animated series, and I'm not sure what's happening with Bleach right now, to be honest with you. I know there's more episodes. I'm not sure if my guy comes back or what happens with him. But
I know that he has something in the future episodes that happened, I think, in the past couple of months in Japan, but in terms of
Zangetsu or Koga?
Zangetsu.
And
other than that, I don't think we're too close to that where he is, but I know that he will be coming back soon,
right?
Eventually. So hopefully we'll be able to hear you again in that, as well as any new Kingdom Hearts games that come out.
There might be some new ones. I play Ansem and Xehanort and that one, and a few other characters from time to time.
I know they're making one for the new 3DS system that comes out, and hopefully Ansem will have a part in that we'll get to hear you in.
Yeah, that would be very cool. I would love that. I always love working with them. In fact, I told you I had a funny story about that. As you know, I replaced Billy Zane in the first one, and when they first called me in to do the part, I was in the studio, and there was about 6 or 7 Japanese clients in the booth and 6 or 7 Disney clients in the booth. So I would do a line, and the engineer would come on the talkback, and he would go, "Just a minute," and they would talk amongst themselves for like 5 minutes, and they come back and they go, "Can you do that line a little slower?" And then I would do the line a little slower, and then they would push the button and say, "Just a minute," and they would talk amongst themselves for 5 minutes, and then come back and say, "Can you do that line a little faster?" And this went on like all day long, and I was ready to jump off a cliff by the end of this thing. And so finally, the engineer came out. We had a break, and I took him aside. I said, "How did Christopher Lee put up with this?" He said, "They did it to him once," and he said, "All right, I'm going to tell you how we're going to do this. I'm going to read this from the top to the bottom. Then I'm going home." And that's what he did, and I thought, wow, how cool is that?
Well, that's Christopher Lee for you.
It's funny. After that happened, I was reading some article. I think it was Peter Jackson who was talking about Christopher Lee. He said I could only get him to do 1 or 2 takes, and then he would leave. And I just thought, wow. I said he even does it when he's doing a big movie. So I guess it's kind of funny. But the guy's 86 years old, so I guess he feels his time is worth a lot of to him at this point. So
yeah, and one of the few things we ask when we come down to the end of the show is convention status. Do you know if you're joining any conventions on the circuit this year?
I actually am going to be doing one this month called VisionCon, and it's going to be in Springfield, and that'll be February 18th through the 20th. I've got a bunch of them. Do you want me to name some of them?
Oh, sure.
I'm going to be at a place, a con call, and pardon me if I mispronounce any of these, Techo Showcon, which is going to be in Pittsburgh, March 31st through April 3rd. And then TorahCon, which sounds like a religious retreat, actually, but that's going to be in Rochester, New York, April 16th through the 17th. And then I'm going to be in Anime Boston, April 22nd through the 24th.
Oh, well, fancy that. So will I. I will be sure to look out for you there.
Yes, you should come out and say hi. I'm excited to go back to Boston. It's one of my favorite cities. And then I'm going to be I have 3 of them in April. The third one is KintokiCon. I'm sorry, I'm not doing a good job on these pronunciations. KintokiCon, which is in Sacramento, actually. And that's going to be kind of a cool one because as far as I know, that's going to be a Ghost in the Shell one, and they're going to try to get all of us to go out there. It'll be me and the Major and Aramaki and Togasa, so that should be kind of a cool show. And then I'm going to do the granddaddy of all cons in September, Dragon Con in Atlanta, Georgia, September 2nd through the 5th. So that should be fun.
Atlanta, Georgia in September. I can only imagine how humid that convention is.
Yeah, well, it's okay. It's okay. I love going there because they have one of the original Trader Vic's there, and I love going there. So,
well, there you go.
I always put I put my eating schedules together with my conventions. Do I want to go there and eat? It's like Baltimore, when I go to Baltimore Otakon. Don't tell Jim Bowles this, but the real reason I go there is for the crab cakes. So, but anyway, that's some of the conventions I'll be doing this year, and hopefully there'll be some more coming up. I get asked all the time to do them, and I love doing them when I can. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes I get tied up, and in the past, sometimes I've had to cancel, unfortunately, because work comes up and you can't get away, unfortunately. But the conventions for the most part have been really gracious and wonderful about the whole thing, and have just been great hosts and hostesses to me and my wife, and so it's been a lot of fun. We've got to see a lot of the country we wouldn't ordinarily get to see, which is always nice. And we do one that we particularly like in New Orleans, MeccaCon, with our friends John and Peter there who do that one, and that's always a big treat for us to go there. And we just, when it's at a place like New Orleans, it always makes it fun.
Yeah. And do you have any places where the fans out there can stalk you in a nice way? Twitter, Facebook?
Facebook, you can always, a lot of my fans are on my Facebook page, which is just Richard Epcar. It's on Facebook, and I'm very, okay with that, with them, approaching me on Facebook. I try to answer as many questions as I can for the fans when they write me and ask me stuff, and I always try to be, available and answer their questions when I can. So that's always fun. And, it's, anytime at any convention, the whole point of me being there is so you can, obviously, if I didn't like that sort of thing, I wouldn't go to these things. So, I enjoy meeting fans. I enjoy talking to them about what they like about the shows that I work on and the things that they're into. And some people are just, as you will know, they're just really into this stuff, and they really take it to heart, and it just, it's great. It makes me feel good that they really enjoy the work that I'm doing, and it's always fun. So
well, definitely.
Yeah.
And before we let you go, we do have one thing that we ask every person who comes on the show, and that is, would you be willing to participate in a 91.8 The Fan tradition?
Of course I would. I don't know what it is. Does it involve drinking?
No, not this one. That's another one. We'll talk about that one later.
All right.
But,
I do want to. I got to promote some of my games too. But should we do the tradition first and then the games after that, or?
Sure. It's really quick. We just ask everyone who comes on the show, voice actor or otherwise, to do a quick radio bump for us.
Sure, I'd be happy to do that.
All right. We just ask everyone to say, "My name is." You fill in what your name is. I do this. I do this. You can put voice actor, specific role, ADR director, whatever. And you're tuned into 91.8 The Fan.
Wait, I lost you there. You're tuned into
91.8 The Fan.
The Fan.
All right. So whenever you're ready.
All right. Hi, this is Richard Epcar, and I'm voice of Bateau and Ansem and Kingdom Hearts and a lot of other stuff that you might know me from. And you're tuned into 91.8, The Fan.
Awesome. You got it on your first try.
There you go. Well, I hope so. I'm professional, for God's sakes.
Well, you'd be surprised how many professionals we've had.
Did I see quotes around that?
Yes, there might have been a few quotes.
All right, I just want to mention a couple of games that just came out that I'm in that I'm excited about.
Sure thing.
I think we mentioned that I'm in the new Call of Duty Black Ops game, which is pretty cool. The Dead Space 2 game that just came out, I'm in that. A game called Basara, which just came out, I'm in that. I'm of course Armor War for Cybertron game. I play Scott. Another game, the Mod Nation with Tradwell in that, which is a very, very cool game. You create your own cart. And I'm in the two new Star Wars games, Empire at War and Old Republic. And StarCraft 2 is Dark Templar is another one. And it just goes on ad nauseum. Red Faction, Guerrilla, Command and Conquer. So those are some of the newer ones that I'm in. That I'm happy that they're coming out because I can talk about them because, when we work on these games and we sign these non-disclosures, you can't really talk about them, unfortunately. And, It's exciting. And we just did a new Dynasty Warriors for all the people that know me as Dong Zhuo. I'm in that. And, he's kind of a fun character. He's just this big, heavy guy who's, a hedonist and into women eating and drinking. So what could be wrong with that, right?
I don't see any problem with it.
So that's a fun one for me too.
All right. And I do believe that's all the time we have for today. But for anyone out there who missed this interview, you can be sure to catch it on our site in the next couple days. But in the meantime, make sure you keep it tuned to your favorite station, 91.8 The Fan. Everything you want and nothing you don't.